Hey guys,
What's
welcome
up,
to
everybody?
another episode of Collection Wars. Thank you for joining us this Saturday. What's up, Michael? How you doing?
My sidekick, Gabe. How you doing, bro?
Good, bro. It's
Good.
it's it's been a long time since we last talked. No,
I know.
I know.
Exactly. I tell you
Um,
what, though, I'm so excited, Gabe. My friend Robin, she's a very busy person, and to have her take the time on her Saturday evening to hang out with us live, which is
yeah,
even better, to talk about her vintage collection and, share with us what her passion for Star Wars and, like all of us, it's a huge honor for me personally to have her on the show, man. I'm
absolutely.
excited.
Absolutely. Yes, this is going
Yeah.
to be a really great show. We got a lot of cool things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
We got a bunch of people already here. All our buddies.
Let's
We got Eric. What's up, Eric?
Hey, Eric.
518 Fet. What's up, Evan? What's up, Evan? Michelle.
What's up,
George.
Michelle?
What's up, George? Ken. How you doing, Ken? Uh yeah. Jedi.
Yeah,
I can never pronounce your name. Jedi 5?
Jedify.
Je- oh, Marcel, what's up, Marcel? How you doing? Jeff, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Got Jose, what's up, Jose? McFly, how you doing?
Yeah,
Aaron, yeah. What do you say? 10 p.m. I like entrance.
yeah. It's
Aaron,
always good. It's always good.
Left Coast Graphics, Star Wars Addicts, Eric, Carly King, how you doing, Carly?
Hey, Carly.
SW7 Flex, what's up? John, Sean, other Sean, Chris, Star Wars Addict. Man, we got a full house
We got
tonight.
Big Cat Pete. We got Scott Berry. Everybody.
Yeah,
Good to
Pete,
see everybody tonight.
Scott, yes. Awesome. Well, let's bring on our guest, Robin. I'm so excited to talk to her and
Yeah.
check out her amazing collection.
Yes.
So let's bring her on.
Yes.
Hey, Robin.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey Gabe. Hey Mike, what's going on?
Good to see you, Robin. Thanks for your Saturday evening.
Because lately there's been just so much to do, so many parties, so many events, so many get-togethers that I've been so busy, but I found time.
Yes, you did. That's super classy. I know you're pretty reserved on because you get just knocked out of the park with everybody hitting you up and whatnot, Robin. But very respectful this evening. We just want to really get into, what really got you into Star Wars, your passion for Star Wars, and most importantly, this massive and incredible collection that you have of vintage Star Wars. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you about it.
Well, I know we've spoken before, and
Yeah.
Gabe, I'm glad to finally be getting to speak to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great.
Seeing the film back in 1977 in Edison in a first-run theater really was pretty cool. It was in the Edison Twin Theater, and it's long gone. But back then, it was one of the few theaters that I used to go to because I grew up here in New Jersey. And seeing it on the big screen, I was almost 5. It was very impressionable for me because my mother was a big sci-fi fan. She still is a very big sci-fi person. So she took me to every single thing and we watched everything on TV. And I probably was seeing things that was much more advanced than I should have been seeing for my age growing up. I mean, I remember watching Space 1999 and that's,
Yeah.
I think you guys have seen that show. And I grew up with every, Forbidden Planet and The Day the Earth Stood Still. And and Vincent Price films also. So that even was horror. So I grew up with a great appreciation of it. And, I was almost 5 and then Empire Strikes Back came out. And that's when it really was my time because I was, that was the right age for me. I was about, 8, 9. So I was about 6 years old there. So that's about 1978. That's a Polaroid that still exists.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Those are the things that are like most important in your collection, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's so precious to I found that among a whole bunch of pictures when we were moving from house to house, and I said, "Oh my God, this still exists," and it didn't fade to black. So because so many of the Polaroids we had from years ago, they're gone. They just They just darkened up and they're not visible. And I'm just grateful to have that.
Yeah.
And that was at a picnic, actually.
You
So I remember seeing him and I was kind of afraid. Then I walked up and I mean, it was such a bad costume. I mean, look at that costume. That is like, what the hell is that? I mean, the chest plate's not even the right place. It's like a belly plate. But you know, I didn't really know because I hadn't seen the film probably more than that once in the theater with my family. But I remembered it. And I remember seeing it. I was scared to death of him. And then I came around and eventually said hi, and he picked me up. He didn't talk, thank God, probably because you know, God only knows. But yeah, and I don't even know who took that picture, but that's been with me my whole life.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So then you got into the movies and Star Wars, and how obviously as a kid, you know, what impression did it have on you?
Well, I grew up on a street where there was girls to play with, but girls were always so lame. You know, they wanted to like comb dolls' hair, and they wanted to, I don't know what the hell they wanted to do. They wanted to play house. And I was like, play house. And then the boys were like, hey, you know, we're playing Star Wars. I'm like, I got those. I'll be right out. Yes. So, you know, I would grab my Falcon, my toys. I'd throw some figures in my pocket, and we'd go out and, you know, we'd play in like basically in the gutter. I don't know how else to put it, where the curb was, and water from people like running their sprinklers would go in, and then water would be coming. So we would like build a dam with like sticks and dirt and rocks, and then put the figures there. And then they'd wash away, or the land speeder would get enough water and then it would just go right down. Like,
that's
and
cool.
Now and then it ended up in the sewer, and it was always somebody's job to have to try to figure out a way to get it out. But, you know, you played with the boys on the street, you rode bikes. And then when you were tired with the figures, then you decided to play Star Wars as yourself. So you'd be running around and you'd see the AT-AT walkers coming down the street. And, you know, and then in winter, it was Hoth. In summer, when we played in the woods, it was Endor. So wherever we were, it fit someplace. So we were always there playing it. And yeah, that was me. My mother made me that costume. That is October of 1983. And that was a G.I. Joe helmet. That was a piece of foam. And back then, hefty bags came in a silver color. So I cut that and I taped it and I rolled it around a piece of foam, and I used like Scotch tape to hold it on. And those were gray pants with a yellow ribbon that I put Elmer's glue on to hold that yellow ribbon on. And after my mom washed them once, the ribbons they all came off. But yeah, I got a lot of use out of that. And I had to improvise with a gun because there was no Leia gun. So I had to take apart this other sci-fi blaster gun, and it was just basically the arm piece that came out from it, and I just whipped that off, and I said, now I got a gun.
Robin, do you have brothers or older brothers? Because it's so fascinating to see, you know, a female that, especially in the vintage era, that has gone on all these years, and the impact that it had, and that I know that it has on women. You just don't see it as much, obviously, as you do with the male gender, but it's so cool to see what it did to you. And then you're telling me you didn't have brothers. So it's like,
I had no brothers or sisters. I was an only child. My mother was an only child. My father had come from 7, and he was in construction. He had a construction company. Yeah. And so he kind of raised me a little bit of a tomboy in ways, because he'd bring home Tonka trucks, and he always had me playing in the mud. And I just ended up being like a wild child, running around, always scraping my knees, filthy, chipping teeth, you know, building forts, building ramps. We always had a lot of plywood. And so I could, you know, build actual forts. And then my father go, oh my God, the whole thing's going to collapse. He'd go out there and help me like rig it a little bit better, because playing with the guys was always a lot more fun than playing with girls. So it was like a no-brainer. Just growing up, that you could just hang out with guys all day long. They were non-judgmental. They were easygoing. You could fight with them. We'd punch each other. And then the next day we were best friends, and we got it out, and it was over. There was no grudges held. And, you know, it isn't necessarily always like that with girls. They'd be like, I don't like her. So I just fit in much smoother with the dudes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So Robin, you know, you had a great childhood. Me and Michael always talk about that it's like, I wish kids, because you know, I have little kids here at home, and they're usually on their iPad, and I'm like, go outside, go try to go play, go with your toys. And it just seems like that's like a lost art now
Yeah,
these
that
days, to
is.
go outside and get dirty and play with your toys. Like, but it's something that I think our generations, you know, got to experience, that it's unfortunately
Yeah.
not around anymore.
I'd hear the doorbell ring, and my mother would be like, Alan's here. And then she'd go, you guys go outside, no roughnecking in the house. So I'd be like, all right. So I go grab as many things as I could, as fast as I could, grab some food, and then like throw it in like whatever I had in my pocket. You know,
Yeah.
I put like a sandwich in my pocket, and off we went. And you know, we would just be out for the day and figuring things out, and everything, we saw things differently than they were. We used our imagination to imagine everything, and we didn't really need anything. I mean, you could every kid picked up a stick, and it was a lightsaber, or a baseball bat, or a wiffle bat, or anything like that, and you automatically you're going to smack the person next to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi move, and you go around it, before you know it, you're cracked, and then the kid's like, ow! And then, you know, especially when you go to Toys R Us, and at the end of the aisle, they'd have all the Force lightsabers there. And I mean, you couldn't not pick it up and hear vroom, vroom, vroom. And then there'd be two of you just like smacking each other. And back then there'd be nobody to stop you. Not like anyone, the manager wouldn't come over and say anything. He'd get hit too.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
Your mom definitely. I've heard a little bit about her. She's definitely going to be a strong woman, because I know you had to be, you know. Yeah.
oh yeah, I got hit all the time, but and it didn't hurt. That was the great thing. So when she'd like, when your father comes home, I'd be like, yeah. And he never cared, which was great, because she'd threaten me, and like, she'd be like, I can't believe you did that. And I'd be like, mm-hmm. So I didn't really listen. So here I am today. I didn't listen. So for all you young kids out there, rebel. So,
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So Robin, so then after your childhood, you still enjoyed Star Wars through high school, college, right?
it was my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Yeah, that's when the park in Orlando opened up. So MGM had opened up that, and I remember seeing this poor soul in 100-degree weather in an Ewok outfit, and I was like, and I grabbed them, and that picture probably was after 5 minutes of me squeezing this poor person to death. And I'd say that was probably one of the most incredible moments of my life, is seeing just that little bit back in, I guess I was there in 89. I think this is from like 89, 90. Yeah. And then, you know, they had a little bit of Endor there, and a little bit of the Ewok village, and the AT-AT Walker, and then Star Tours. And that was sheer magic, because for the first time in so long, it was real again, and you could touch it and feel it and see it. And you could see R2-D2 and C-3PO and the Star Tours and talking, and it was great. But I used to feel really bad going to KB Toy and Hobby, and going to Toys R Us, and seeing all of the toys on clearance for $1.
Yeah.
And I always had a couple bucks in my pocket, and I'd always buy carded figures and like ships and the mini rigs and whatever they were on clearance, and buy them, and then come home and just throw them in the closet, and buy more and throw it in the closet. And then I started going to Star Trek conventions, because nobody went to Star Wars conventions anymore. So my friend Michael Feldman and I'm still friends with him. We still talk about it. We laugh about it. We would go to, he was more of a Star Trek person. He was in love with Uhura, and I know it didn't work out for them, but that's the short of it. But we would go, and you would see all the Star Wars figures in the bin, you know, for $1, no matter what the figure was. Nobody knew what they were. They were like, oh yeah, those, nobody wants that Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
What you want is the Star Trek stuff. I mean, the next generation, that's where the money is. That's where you want to put your money. And I'd be like, I don't know about that. And so I would just buy every single thing I could see at these Star Trek conventions, because nobody wanted it. And it was great. So that's what held me over in the 80s. And then going to just local events, but mostly everything was going to sci-fi conventions, and you would still get the the drips and drabs. Now that's Comic-Con. That was quite a few years ago. My hair was darker then.
But yeah, so you
everyone's looking at my hair. I know. I'm actually in the Stormtrooper costume. That's actually me. I posed next to some girl who kind of resembled me a little bit.
So that's so funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, absolutely. Like in the 90s especially, right? Like kind of Star Wars kind of just disappeared for a little while, right? And like
it was so sad. Nobody cared. It was dead. And then, as we call it, the dark times for collecting was the 90s, and crap was coming out. Galoob. I would see things by Galoob, and I was like, "Oh, it's Star Wars." And my mother, every single year, bought me Star Wars items. She would find, the Bendums and like the most horrific things, the Power of the Force 2 with these big, massive muscles. I mean, they were like He-Man figures of Star Wars. They were horrible. And she goes, I got you stuff for Christmas. And I've opened it up. I'm like, thanks, Mom. It's not really the same. And I still have all of that. And I have a massive closet filled with all the stuff that even she bought me. That's how much stuff she bought me, thinking, well, it's Star Wars, you like Star Wars. And that's like most people who don't really know the movies. They'll bring me something and say, you like Star Wars, don't you? And I'm like, yes, I do. And then they give me something. I'm like, that's very thoughtful. Thank you. But this is Battlestar Galactica. and, or it'll be a modern item. And, I love the thought. I love all Star Wars. So all Star Wars is good. It's like pizza, right?
Yeah.
All pizza is good. And if anyone says it isn't, then we then we have something to talk about. But
right, that's different.
The collecting has gone through my whole life, and eBay really made it the best, believe it or not. That's when suddenly I went to look and say, well, what am I really missing? And that's when I realized that I'm missing something from every country that put things out, either licensed or unlicensed. And that's what fried my brain when I realized I really don't know anything. And I still don't claim to know very much about collecting. I know a little bit. I mean, I know a lot more than a lot of people, but I try to learn something every day. And now I'm getting of the age that now when I learn something, I'm forgetting something. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, obviously, you started collecting, when you were young and all that, but when did you decide, you know what, I'm going to start actually displaying my stuff? I want to really, because obviously that's the second part of collecting, right? It's not just about putting it in the closet. It's about kind of thinking about the display, right? How are you going to put the stuff out?
Probably about 7 or 8 years ago, a buddy of mine who's into horror would come over my house, and I have lots of rooms. And he'd say, if I had the kind of space you did, what I would want to do is I'd want a collecting room. And I was like, I never really thought of that. He goes, you have boxes and boxes and bags and closets filled with that stuff, and you're just letting it sit there. And I'm like, yeah, I just swing the bags around every now and then. Like, literally, I would just like move the bags. And so we went to IKEA together, and I picked an area of our house to start to set up. And I started putting things out and, displaying everything. And then I went, I really don't have that many of these stormtroopers. I think I should get more. Growing up, I had one. Maybe I had two, maybe because I stole one from Alan. I might have had two because I stole one from him. But I mean, that's when I realized I did as much as I thought I had, I didn't have. And then I went, you know what, I'm going to start to look. And then it got to be, it got a little crazy, because while I had a lot of things loose, I wanted to have everything boxed. I wanted to have everything sealed. So you can have an item that was loose that maybe I played with or I never had. And then I wanted to be able to really inspect it. And then I wanted to have like a sealed one or a mint in box one. And then the obsession of having multiples and triplicates and quadruplicates of things started to come in. And if you know a lot of collectors, I mean, especially focus collectors, they can have thousands of items and that almost resemble the same thing.
Yeah.
That it almost borders on insanity. But a lot of collectors, I feel, border on insanity because it's an obsession.
It
It's
is.
something that preoccupies your mind morning, noon, and night. You think about it. You're on eBay constantly. You have timers. You keep track of things. You're always talking to people. You're networking with people. You're planning the next thing. You're wondering, how can I expand? How can I get more room? How can I move everything around? And you wish you had more time in a day just to do that for a living.
Yeah, I think you just made our whole crowd very uncomfortable because you described each one of us to a T. So
But we're all the same.
yeah,
That's why we all like each other and we support each other. We support each other's crack habit.
yeah,
For
that,
sure. It's
that's
crazy.
what we do, especially here at Collection Wars. It's like
Yeah.
It's great though. You feel good. You feel accepted. You feel loved. You feel like these are my people. That's how I feel whenever I go to any kind of convention. Even if it's like a comic collection, I look around and I go, "These are my people.
Yeah.
I am with my people," and you feel good. There's like a camaraderie there that you can't get anywhere else. And just thinking about it, it's like 4 more days, 3 more days, 2 more days. I'm going to eat some junk food. You're going to eat like you just won a Little League game. That's how you're going to eat that day. And
100%.
you look forward to it. You look forward to being like a little kid again with money. You know, when you're young, you may not have the money that we have when we're in our 50s that you can, buy what you want. Back then, you're like, come on, Mom. My mother would be like, only 3 figures this time. 3. Pick the 3. And I'd be like, oh.
Robin,
Well, then maybe I'll get the Return of the Jedi, maybe. I'll get another Wicket. And, what else is another really bad character that I should buy? Looking back now, I want to kill myself because I have dreams where I'm in a store and all these great figures are there, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to grab them all, and I get so excited that I wake up and I'm like feeling for them, and I'm like, oh my God, it was a dream. There's this one place I used to go to. It was a flea market, and they had a toy store in it, and I remember seeing all the 12-inch figures. They had like 100 IG-88s. And nobody was buying them. All those 12-inch IG-88s, all sealed, all in there now. And now today, like a sealed IG-88, goes for what, $2,500, $3,500?
oh yeah,
they were just sitting there. No one wanted them. I think the guy was letting them go for like $11, $10.
I just gotta say real quick, Robin, that it's crazy because usually, me and Gabe, we've done so many shows now, and we do shows on just whether it's people that have been in the industry, ex-ILMers or ILMers, still in the industry, studio scale. But when it comes to vintage, Gabe usually knows that I'm going to have the court on that deal. And I just want to be real clear to let you know, Robin, as much as me and you have had our personal conversations on the phone and whatnot, just sitting here the last 10 minutes, you have so brought me and our viewers that are into the vintage back to those times. I mean, everything that you were just explaining and your enthusiasm, it was just like everything that you said from the dollar bins of the KB toys. I remember every freaking detail of what you're saying. It's like I was living it with you, Robin.
Yeah,
because
I did all there together.
Yeah,
we're all there, and now we found each other again.
I know exactly. It's like, where have you been?
Well, Michael, it's like what we were saying, right? It's like even right now with like the country's so divided. But what's funny is that Star Wars seems to be like the one thing that seems to connect everyone. It's the thread that kind of
it's the force. The force connects us all, and it ends up. We all kidded around growing up thinking we're going to move something, and if you really concentrate. And now today, you find out that the force is real.
It is.
Because we found each other through it, and our friendship is now the force. Wow. It's this feeling, it's this emotion that binds us, surrounds us, and holds us all together. So Yoda was right, and it is real, and we actually get to all experience it together every time we talk about it.
So I know we're going to need to because you have so many things. I'll
show some pictures. I don't care. We'll talk about it.
So before we do dive in, Robin, is there anything specific? Like me personally, obviously, all of your vintage, I'm in like awe. Everybody knows my vintage collection. I have just a standard complete collection of vintage. But looking back at some of the things that you have, I go back in time on I had that and I don't have it anymore. Is there certain things right now? Is it like the screen use pieces? And I know we're going to get into that and show photos, but me to you personally, what is it? Is it the vintage though, all the original? Because I noticed the things that I love in your collection personally are like the 12 back, packaging that you saw, the store displays and the
Yeah.
hangers. What is it that you love?
I love all the toys, but the thing that starts to bother me a little bit about toys is that they were produced in such mass volume. And when you talk about hundreds of millions of Star Wars toys that were made by, put out through Kenner, and then everyone, and now they're so expensive. 12 backs have gone through the roof just to buy a 12 back figure now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane to spend $2, $3, $4, $5, $6,000 for like a figure that was like $2.50.
Yeah.
So to me, a part of me is even though I have all of it, I resent it because it's so overpriced, and the pandemic, only exacerbated prices because everyone's like, well, I'm not going on vacation, so I'll spend the money on Star Wars. I'm not going out to eat, so I'm gonna spend the money on Star Wars.
Yeah.
So the prices, instead of like maybe going down, some things have doubled.
Yeah.
And I track them with my friends all the time. And I'm always going, I'll be damned. I can't believe this actually happened. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I was like, finally, I'm going to get to buy more of the same crap. And now I'm like, I've slowed down. And so now I figured, if I'm now willing to double down and spend more money from production items on more one of a kind screen used props.
Yeah.
So instead of spending a few thousand on an item, I'm willing to spend, tens of thousands to buy something that it's the only one. And I'll buy less things, but those few things will be so much more cherry to me. They'll be that much more meaningful because I'll be like, this was on the set. Mark Hamill handled this. Carrie Fisher handled this, or they saw it, or they breathed on it, or maybe they touched it, or that they sneezed on it. I mean, you're gonna lick it. That's right. I got the germs and skin on me. That's right. When you get to that point, you're like, this is the real stuff. These are the items that we make the toys off of. So. Yeah. I have, which I love IG-88. I see that's IG-88 in the back.
It is. Yep.
I love it. So, I have the Rolls-Royce Darwin jet engine head here, which was IG-88's head. And I have him here. And a friend of mine had helped me get it from Norway. And, getting it here, it's amazing. People, when I open it up, my husband's like, wow, that's a piece of junk. And it's like, I'll make 0.5 past light speed, kid. And after a while, I'm like, never mind. So I put a big red light in it, and I lit it up, and I put it there. And I'm like, that's right. That's right. And it's almost prop worthy because it's real. It's a real piece that they made a IG-88's head from it. So it's not IG-88's head, but to me, it's like a quasi prop.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I know me and Michael have had this conversation. So all
many times.
Yeah, they're licensed replicas, right? They master replicas,
and they're expensive.
People robot, right? Where they'll go.
I mean, so many good things. I mean, I could set all this on fire. I want to come see what you guys have, because what you guys have is what I don't have, and it's like if we went to a restaurant, whatever you guys ordered, I want that.
Yeah.
So this will be my fork, and I'm going to be eating your food. Yeah. You see all that? I'd like some of that, and I want some of that. And Michael's things, they haunt me at night. I lay in bed and I go, oh my God, he's got like a Death Star, and he's got everything, and I hate him.
Well, it's funny because I look back at you, Robin, and I say the same thing. I'm like, oh shit, I have that. I want that. I got to come visit you, Robin. Yeah, for sure.
You do. You do need to come visit me. And I do need to, I have to come visit you, and we have to talk more, and maybe, help me out with figuring out where the hell my collection's going. Because right now, I almost feel like I'm graduating high school, going into college now with the way I'm moving into a different way of collecting. That when like the prop store auction comes up, I'm like, and what's going to be there? What is going to be the item? Is there going to be anything that sings to me that I'm going to say I have to have it no matter what? And then that's again, it's a dangerous thing. I'll do anything. I'll do anything for it, man. I do anything. I need it. I need it. Give me some more. And then before you know it, you're like, stop that. You have to get a control of yourself. And you're like, no, you don't.
No, and I've been following the prop shop or the prop store auctions for years now because I also collect. I have screen use props all throughout the house. Not necessarily Star Wars, but I have from other films. And that's another thing that I've noticed is that those prices have also gone crazy. Like in the last 2 years, like the prices have tripled, quadrupled, more than that. I mean, it's insane.
It's not even just Star Wars. I was watching, I watch it live, like for the 2 or 3 days that these auctions go by. You know, Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic Park. We all love Jurassic Park. It was great. The funny thing is that a few years ago, nobody cared about a lot of the Jurassic Park props.
Yeah.
They weren't really going for that significant. The prices were like, okay, $3,500 for that. All right, $2,000, $5,000. You know, then there was a prototype, like the cane that Hammond carried around that had the amber in it. It was a prototype for like the cane with like just that. And what that sell for like $180,000?
Yeah, crazy.
And it was a prototype. It wasn't even like a screen used item. So when you start to get into these other, so it's bled out into everything. So all movie props now are going for a lot of money. I used to go out to a place out in Los Angeles called It's a Wrap. And there's another place in Burbank. Some of these places are like long gone, but they would have like all the things from TV shows and movies. And it was junk. Yeah. And, you know, I remember all the things from Arsenio Hall show, all of his jackets, all of Arsenio Hall's jackets were there. And my friend Mark put it on, and the sleeve was like 4 feet longer, like his arms. Yeah. And there was all of the 90210 things and all like the Melrose Place, all other clothes for like $1, $2. And it's all the tags on for who wore them. And they were going for nothing. And shoes. I bought a pair of Shannon Doherty's shoes from the show. I ended up owning. I have Rachel Ticketon's boots from, you know, Get Your Ass to Mars. I just watched it the other day. You know, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Help me out here. Great short.
Terminator? No,
when he goes to Mars.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Yes.
The one with the 3 boobs, dude. Come on.
Oh yeah.
I'm blanking out too.
What the hell? Hang on.
How are we not?
One of our viewers are gonna.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I have her suede boots, so I have Rachel Ticketon's boots
from
that movie.
Total Recall.
Yeah, from Total Recall. So I bought those for like $100.
Thanks, Jason.
These suede boots that go up over her knees, and they're all beaten up. And the only reason why I bought them is because they were a size 7.5, and I'm a size 7.5. And I'm like, oh, these are really cool. I'm going to buy these boots. I love the movie. I like that look. So I used to wear these boots in college. So I would put them on and like wear them. And I'm thinking, and I look back now and I go, you know, I probably shouldn't have done that. I mean, they were really beaten up from the movie, but nobody really valued these things. And now today, every single little thing has really gone up. It's a little disheartening in a sense, because I feel like too many people are buying them not because they're believers. They're buying them as to sell, to resell, because you see some of the same things being bought and flipped. At the next auction or at a different auction. They're waiting an auction in between. And it's the same thing. And I'm like, oh, so you think you're going to make 50,000 or 100,000 on it? Well, you're an idiot. And everybody else that's on that level looking to buy it knows that also. Right. So they end up they were like, this is where you should put your money. So I think these people are going to eventually learn that that's not how you do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. My wife, Denise, is into Barbie. I'm not sure if I told you that before, Robin.
No.
And same with Barbie. It's skyrocketed in price. And that's something like Star Wars that does maintain its value, but it's just crazy the price point of where everything is nowadays. And you're so humble, Robin, to talk about that, knowing that you have everything pretty much in the vintage collection everything, but knowing that what its value is, because I know you don't buy things to sell them. So like me and you, we were talking just today about what difference does it make how much it's worth if you're not going to be selling it.
You know, when people say it, you know what I mean? It's priceless. You're right. It is priceless. It doesn't have a price.
That's right.
Because it's the investment in me. It's my investment in my happiness. Yeah. And I know that at some point, and I'm guessing I'm right, eventually I'll have to be right, this stuff's going to be worth nothing. It'll be junk. And my daughter, who's really young right now, she's gonna, look at this and, eventually, have somebody come in and go, all right, just take it all away. And no one, I don't think anyone will care in 40 years because kids don't play with toys.
I don't know about that, Robin. You're right about the not playing with toys, but somehow, some way, the Star Wars is continuing.
Star Wars is forever. Star Wars is a very special thing, but it's really special for us. We say it's that special. We feel it. It's just that thing. But will somebody who grew up thinking that the Phantom Menace, oh yeah, I know Star Wars. I've seen the Phantom Menace. And then, we sit there, we go, Misa, don't think so. Yeah. And, you sit there and you're like, well, you really should go back. Oh, those other ones, they're not as good. No, these other films, they sing to me because that's my generation. That's when I started watching films. Mm-hmm. And then you have the newer group of films that come out. Maybe 10-year-olds had just saw Ray. Yeah. And so now they're going to say those are their films. But again, we liked it because we played with the toys. We played with each other outside. That we learned how to communicate through playing that and the camaraderie of it. So that's where I think the value of it is in our generation. Yeah. And I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong.
Yeah.
But I always go, I don't even care whether I'm right or wrong. I'm not going to be here to find out. I'm enjoying it now and I could care less.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, let's enjoy some of that right now.
Yes.
Let's take a look at your collection.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through these pictures, and you just
picked up that actually from the prop store of all places on the bottom right.
I love that
the Aces game. Yeah, that's a redo of another game that Kenner had put out that actually was a saloon fighting game. So they reused a lot of their molds, and that originally came in red plastic. So that game actually was owned by Howard Kazanjian, and I won that at the prop store auction. Wow. So that was his personal one. I actually own a couple of his things now, which is kind of odd.
He passed away, right? Howard did.
No, he's still alive. He's been, unless something happened in the past week.
No. I was. Who is the director of Return of the Jedi? I thought that was him.
Yeah, I thought it was Howard Kazanjian.
I am so sorry.
Confused between the producer and the director, but no, he's been just selling off his things. He's older now, and a lot of these things were given to him over time, and he just has been like liquidating them. And there's that Darwin's jet engine on the ground there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, can you tell us about that piece? Because Gabe has a replica of that. Is that like just a real piece, and you lit it, or what?
Yeah, no, a friend of mine actually works on he works with airplanes. His father was a jet fighter, and he works restoring airplanes, and so he knows a lot about jets and engines and everything like that. So he's in that world. So when a friend of his had two that he was selling, he's like, well, Robin, I know you'd want one, so he helped me. I sent him the money. He packed it up. He shipped it to me. So that's how I was able to get that. It's very heavy and very clumsy.
Yeah, and they're rare these days. Yeah, like mine is it's a cast from one of the Disneyland ones. The cantina at Disneyland.
Yeah.
But obviously it's casted from one of these. But yeah, they're super hard to get these days.
Do we have close-ups of these cases?
Yeah. I think
good. I'm so glad. Oh my gosh!
Look at that. Yeah. So now this is on the other side, right? We'll get to it. I think
the other side. Yeah, I have all my Power of the Force carded figures on the left. Some of those of which, again, were like $1. Looking back now, I have the Han Solo and Carbonite. I had 2 of those. The friends come over and they go, why do you have 2 or 3 of some of these items? And I'm like, because I didn't remember what I had. And I was just running through the store and they were on clearance. So I would just like buy them and throw them in. So I really wasn't keeping track. So that's why there's like triplicates of some of these. And people are like, oh, well, okay, Robin. And I'm like, yeah, it was $1. All right. Hush up.
So it looks like the Millennium Falcon is something you're
I've been buying. I have more to put out. I don't really know where the hell I'm going to put them at this point. I'm trying to buy one of everyone from every country for every all the 3 films. So I'm trying to just buy, the Meccano's, the French, the Lilly Ledy, the Kenners, everything. And then with Empire there was like 2 different versions. So it's hard because you could end up having like 30 Millennium Falcons, and that's like a whole wall. So I'm starting to go, should I buy it? And now that's where I'm like, I want to buy this. I should buy all of them. I should just buy them and source them and get them and have them. And then the other part of me goes, but why? I don't need it. I don't need to put it anywhere. Oh, that's my hangout.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Those are the casting couches when you come over, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I do know what you mean.
I cannot wait to visit you, Robin. I'm not playing.
Oh,
This is so cool. It was really cool too.
I mean, you are the coolest person we've had.
I know.
I mean, I'm not gonna
No, I
lie.
said that to my husband tonight. I'm like, there's a lot of guys that think I'm cool, and he's like, yeah, I know. I've met your friends. They've come over. Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm like, you should be worried. You should be worried. And then he's like, okay, so what's for dinner? Like, I can't throw the threat of, I'm gonna run off with the guy who likes Star Wars, and then he goes, well, I like Star Wars, and I'm like, but you don't love it. He goes, I don't love it. He goes, well, I don't love it like you do.
I think that's, what? I think that's what makes that marriage good, though, honestly. But I want you, that looks like a scene out of, if you didn't have the center section, that looks like a scene in Bespin,
Yes, exactly. And now this whole room is just getting all, I'm going to say it's all getting all shit up with too many things here at this point. I have too many things to move around. Yeah, so then that's the Emperor's Royal Guard helmet there in the middle. We'll talk more about that later.
There's a picture there.
That is actually a Bradley Time prototype drawing in the front of a speeder bike that they were going to do for a clock that they scrapped. So that's like a one of a kind.
Wow.
And then in back of it, you probably see another view of that. There's like a really big frame.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. But
okay.
yeah, I want to talk about that because I built my R2. I'm part of the R2 Builders Club. So that's like, gold to me because that's the blueprints. But we'll talk about those when we get there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Holy crap.
It looks even worse than that now. It actually, I was kidding around. It looks like a family of gypsies lives in it right now. It's so bad. It's like a fire trap. One day you're going to just find me under it. It's like, it's going to be the trash compactor one day.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to be in there.
Looking the same.
Yeah. And the thing's going to come out like this and just going to go right by. And I'll be in all this stuff.
If I could show you. Yeah. My floor is getting just ransacked.
Oh yeah. I had to move things away. Yeah. Yeah. That's some of the other carded figures.
Hey, Robin, I know when you look in, and that's what's so cool about, because obviously it'd be boring if everybody had the same collections, right? Mm-hmm. So like when you look at my collection, you're kind of like, oh, I wish I had that. But I just want you to know that me, I'm a pretty extensive collector in Star Wars. I look at your collection and Robin, it's the most beautiful collection in the world. And I'm not kidding. Listen, Robin.
It's not though.
It is though to me, because when it comes to the vintage, not props or any of that other stuff, the vintage toys, can't touch this.
I tried to buy one of everything. Literally physically one of everything that I could learn and handle and play with. And by buying one of everything, you end up really connecting the whole globe because there's so many things that Japan put out. Like, for instance, Takara put out things that nobody put out. And they put in so much ingenuity to all the metal, all the little metal pieces that they would all move. Mm-hmm. So Japan put out great things. And Meccano from France and Lilly Ledy from Mexico. And I can just go on and on and on. Everybody put their own spin on it. So as you're collecting it, you just end up feeling even more connected with the world through it. I
gotta tell you my Lilly Ledy story because all our vintage guests, I have to tell them that. So I'm from Mexico. I grew up in Mexico. I came to the United States. Didn't speak any English. The only English I spoke was from Star Wars. I literally memorized Star Wars lines, and that's what connected me to friends here. Well, when I was in Mexico, there was two options whenever you went to the toy stores. There was a Lilly Ledy or the American version. And I grew up being a snob about I wanted the American version because to me that was the legit version. And if I flipped that card over and it was black and white or like black and gray, I was like, I gotta put it back. That's the Mexican one. And I would get the yellow back, I would get the
Oh,
American back. Now, yeah, and then once obviously I started talking to Michael and I started learning about vintage. He was like, those are the rarest ones. I was like, what? I remember going to the equivalent of Toys R Us, but with just nothing but Lilly Leddy's. And I would
oh my
pick them up
God.
and I would look for the yellow backs because I wanted the yellow one. So, anyways, that's my Lilly Ledy story.
Yeah, they're so valuable and so hard to come by because the way that the bubbles were put on, they're glued. It wasn't very good, and Mexico's a little more humid and warm, so they popped off so much more.
Mhm.
They were not manufactured to last as long as the Kenner versions from Hong Kong and Taiwan. Yeah, another mess on the floor.
I just got to jump in and just say one real quick respectful thing to Jedi-Fi. Robin's collection is amazing, but yeah, Jeff Jacobs does have a great collection. However,
Oh,
it is. Oh,
hands
yeah,
down.
Robin, respectfully, it is a nice collection. He might have the best setup, but you guys have no idea about the details of Robin's collection when it comes to the collection of what's owned and what she has and what Jeff has. And he is a super cool, classy dude, but brother, he has nothing on Robin. I'm just saying, just as
Jeff's actually a very good friend of mine. We
yeah,
talk
he's a
on the
cool
phone
ass
all the
dude.
time. I'm very good friends with his
Yep.
wife and
Yep.
his
We've had him on the show. We've had
yeah,
him on
no,
the show.
yeah. Jeff and I actually are good friends, and
Yep.
I love, he buys perfect specimens of
Yep.
items, like perfect. It has
Yep.
to look like it just came out of like a case box. And I
Yes.
appreciate the fact that he loves the newness. I'm a
Yes.
little less picky sometimes because I want oddball items, and sometimes you can't be that picky. And to get something from Spain, perhaps, maybe
For
there's
sure.
none. So
Yeah.
maybe you'll be a little beaten up, but I got it and it's mine. And then I throw it and I go check, and then I go to the next one.
This picture, right? Hey, wait, go back. Go back. You got to go back, Gabe, because just so you know, if you're a true vintage guy, and I would say, holy crap, you have the freaking. So just so you guys know, things that are like this one little picture, it's crap on the floor. Let me tell you something real quick. Like that thing in the front, the Star Wars,
The necklaces.
the necklace for the original 78 necklaces. You know how long it took me to find that store display? That's a store display. That's gold piece. And then she has randomly the 12 back card back version of the figures that's in the back right underneath the TIE fighter right there. And that
The bin. That's the bin for all the 12 back figures that has the plastic inside.
Yeah.
And I just threw my Ewoks in it because I don't know what else. What else?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, Robin, to throw you under the bus here, but just so you guys know, that right there is 15 grand. Just so you know,
Just for the box.
I'm just throwing it out there, but I know because I've been looking for that sumbitch for about 10 years now, and it's carded about $15,000. Just so you know. Just saying, Robin. I'm sorry.
Just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Just so you know.
Throwing it out there. Holy
Just so
shit.
you know. All right. Yeah.
Jesus.
Let's move on.
Oh man.
And that's some of my loose. And I have like 2 cabinets of just like loose, and then I have buckets of loose, which is even more embarrassing.
Wait, do I see some
I
GI
just have
Joes?
so much loose that I got into that for a while. That and then I wanted to have the whitest of white and the cleanest, and the ones where there was no, the paint wasn't rubbed off. And
Wait.
anyway, yeah, and I like store displays, so I want to go back in time to say, this was hanging in the store, and because they threw them out. Nobody cared. When they were done selling the item, why would they keep the wrapper?
Yes.
Oh, because I want the wrapper. Now I want the wrapper 40 years later. I want like a bubblegum wrapper.
Yeah.
Robin, on some of those store displays, did you get those respectfully off of eBay, or did you get them from the stores? Because like that one, the Emperor one right there on the bottom.
The Emperor one actually came through somebody in the collecting community. There's, different Facebook pages where people will just post stuff up and they'll go, bid it up, and so, you'll just, everyone throws a number out And, I'm lucky sometimes when I throw a number out and they check back on their phone and I guess that hits the magic number and then they go, okay, Bocra won it. And I'm like, yeah. But like, for example, that is the one above the Return of the Jedi one. That's for the die-cast ships.
Oh my gosh.
I have the bin. I have the die-cast bin in another cabinet now. And I filled that with a bunch of ceramics, like vintage ceramics. So, but that's the header for all of the die-cast ships.
No, I remember those at Best Products. And I remember, Robin, getting that header with the Emperor Guard on there. It's a two-sided, it's got different images on both sides. Mm-hmm. And I got that from the toy box. The guy held it for me and he gave me two different ones, which I no longer have either one. So.
Oh, you really shouldn't admit these moments of stupidity because like early senility.
Enough said.
Oh man.
Yeah, I collect even like the jackets and the costumes and like the raincoats, so that'll be stacked there. And then every now and then you're going to see those white plaster boxes. Those are actually the molds that came from factories where they made the ceramic items.
Wow.
So I buy the slip molds that the ceramic items were actually made from. When they'd make thousands and thousands and thousands of them, I buy the original molds too. So people come over my house and look at my collection, and if they don't, they just go, "Oh, isn't this lovely? You collect toys." And that's when a lot of people, they don't know what they're looking at, and so many people come through my house for different reasons, like friends of friends or whatnot, and the wives are just walking around going, is this your collection? Is this your, it's really your husband's. And I'm like, no, he would never put the detail and time into this. This is not him. So if you know what the items are, sometimes how rare they are. But a lot of times, if you wouldn't know what those little white boxes are. They're made of like a clay, like a white clay, and they still feel cold and wet, even though that they're like 40 years old.
That's crazy. Is that, I mean, obviously, but is that a robot chicken little toy, like the little Darth Vader with the glasses?
Oh, that was a gift. That's like a little, I think it's like a little ceramic thing that,
Oh.
I get a lot of gifts from people all over the world. I don't know how they get my address. That's even more creepy. But I get a lot of things. And my husband always goes, "Look, you're buying stuff. You're constantly buying stuff." I go, "No, these are gifts."
And
he's like, "No, they're not." He goes, "You don't get all these gifts." And then I open it up and I'll be like, "Would I buy this? I might not buy this, Bill."
That's funny. What's funny is that right now there's a trend right now, like on Instagram and TikTok, this video went viral and it's this guy who brings home this like machine, and the wife asks him like, "Where'd you get it?" He's like, "They gave it to me. They gave it to me." And he's like, "No,
I love that.
Have you seen that?" Yeah. And it's like every collector is using that sound. It's like, "They gave it to me."
Yeah, I get a lot of gifts too, Robin. It's crazy the amount of people out there that love the collection. They love the display, the setup of what I've put out there, what me and Gabe put out there, and it's amazing the amount of people out there, the love that they send me things quite a bit. It's crazy. I don't ask for it, and it's just
I don't ask for it. I'm very honored because people send me things or give me things that were theirs as a child.
That's
and
great.
They say they don't have anywhere to put it. It would mean a lot that they know that it was with my stuff and that it was being preserved and cared for under my roof. And if it could be a part of my collection, they were honored by it. And then that kind of stuff makes me all tear up, and I'm like, so that's really, really, I mean, it's genuinely, I mean, that's really nice that a part of their childhood, a part of them, that they want to give me something, and it means a lot. So I say thank you, but I don't want, I want them to display it. I want them to find a place in their house so that they can enjoy these things.
For sure.
Yeah,
it's the wives, those evil women. They're always coming up and going, "That's not what the dining room cabinets are for." Yeah. No.
So Robin's definitely one of the guys. And
I'm one of the guys. I hang out with guys. I only hang out with guys. I only have male friends. I mean, all day long, guys will be calling me, and my husband doesn't even flinch. I even go, "Aren't you just jealous just a little bit?" And he goes, "No." And I'm like, "You should be." So yeah, I only hang out with. I am one of the guys. I feel like Ellen Barkin from Switched. Like I was born in the wrong body. You know what I mean? It's like I walk around. I go, look at that, look at that, look at that, and then I realize and then I'm like, but I'm a chick. Should I be acting like this? Probably not.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Nathan Cloud made a comment about the display, the necklace case. I don't know how you came across that, Robin, but that I looked for that for years and finally got it. And there's a necklace, a C3PO, one of the C3PO necklace with the arms. That is one of my prized possessions of my collection because of a situation I was going through as a child. And my mom gave me that. But to be able to get that display stand and display the different necklaces on it, it took me forever to finally find that thing. How did you come across yours?
Nathan. See, what did Nathan say? Did Nathan tell you a little bit about it?
He didn't. He just said that love the necklace display. Wow.
Yeah, he loves it because he knew I wanted one. And he was able to locate it, and he made the connection talking to somebody for like 4 months. And the guy's like, I got the money, thank you. I'm mailing it. And I'm like, Nathan, that SOB isn't mailing it. And month after month after month, we never got it. And then finally it was, it showed up, and I was like, I can't believe it. I said, well, if it doesn't show up, we'll at least have something to laugh about. So, hi, Carly. How are you? Oh, Dream Collection. Yes. Thank you. Much appreciated. But yeah, so I have a lot of friends in the community, and they know I like oddball, weird, one of a kindy kind of things.
And it's for sure.
It's not one of a kind, but it almost is these days because it's not like you can go on eBay and find these things. Like that Chewbacca puppet that you're looking at right now was released in Canada by a company named Regal. So Regal put out, and they made 2 items. They have that, and then I have it's a Jawa plush. It has like these little, it's like little hands that squeak.
I've been looking for that forever. The Jawa.
I have him too in the cabinet. But this puppet is awesome. I mean, it's like Cy Smiley. Hi, I'm Cy Smiley here, and it doesn't look like Chewbacca. I mean, so many things don't. I mean, that Harry and the Hendersons looks more like Chewbacca than this puppet. But that puppet with that, just to have that tag is like, that is so hard to find. I mean, just the tag. If I couldn't have gotten the puppet, I would have bought the tag.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Man.
Look at this.
I got that from a guy in Amsterdam who didn't know what the hell he was doing. He'd only sold 2 things on eBay, and his English was a little broken. He was a nice guy, and of course, I'm clearly a nice person. But I kind of got really mad at him because I told him, okay, this is what you have to do. If you want to ship it from Amsterdam to me, you have to ship it in peanuts. You got to go to a comic book store, buy a star case. It's called a star case. And then you're going to pack that with peanuts to protect the bubble. So he packed it in Planters peanuts. So it came with like 15 pounds of peanuts. I saw pictures of it. Swear to God.
Story. Oh my gosh, look at that.
There you go. And if you look, you can see the Boba Fett in there. And that's the picture that the guy said, stop worrying, it's fine. And then he sent me that picture. I woke up to, that's the first thing I woke up to that morning. I woke up and I was like from Sanford and Son going, oh my God, Wheezy, you're going to kill me. And that's what I woke up to. And I was like, that son of a, I can't, and then I realized I said to pack it with peanuts, and you know what? I really didn't specify, salted or unsalted or styrofoam. So I'm the idiot.
Oh my God!
Hey, but everything showed up okay, and the bubble.
The bubble was a little flattened, let's say. So I had to kind of like. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, oh my God, it's gonna pop. This is gonna be it, and then that's it. And then I'm like, wow, it's gonna be like I was 10 again, popping them off the card. And it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine.
Hey, Robin. So I got to ask real quick. So, in your vintage collection, that extensive collection, do you grade yours, or do you not care about grading?
If it comes graded, I don't really grade. A couple of things I needed to because they kind of flop over. For example, like display bells or anything that's cardboard that was like a flimsy piece that could bend easily, that's large. It really is better just to put them in acrylic. And if they grade it, they grade it. If not, it comes basically graded. It doesn't cost that much more to have it graded.
Right. Yeah. I just,
But yeah, I don't really care.
I don't send my stuff out ever.
I know I used to grade a couple of things. It doesn't really matter now. Just for display purposes, some things they're easier to handle if they're in an acrylic. But I really don't care.
No. Oh, well, look at that. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Those cabinets are so jam-packed that you're seeing the front. And then if you took out something, then you took out something, then you took out something, and then you can basically go into the next room through there. There's like a wall, there's open. I'm just kidding. But are packed so tight, it's actually disgusting. So, I've part of the house that we just redid, I was supposed to have for myself to expand. It was going to be like another 2,000 square feet. And I was like, I'm taking that. And then at the end, it's like, I didn't get it. So now we're talking about building onto the house and building like another room just for me. And I want to do it very space age. So I'm going to kind of try to do it super, super modern with cabinets and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you about all that stuff for sure.
Oh, we will.
Yeah. I mean, because you have it all. I mean, but you're going to need more than 2,000 square feet. I'm just telling you.
Well, I have space now. I mean, maybe it'll be 3,000, maybe 4,000, but at some point, but then the stress comes up with, oh my God, I got to fill it. But I have so much stuff that I could expand out. If I bought 10 more cabinets, they'd be I could just put the things I have now in them. Yeah. I could fill up rooms just by taking these things out. You can't see anything. I'm just using these for storage at this point.
No.
So I noticed in that one picture, Gabe just had up the 12-back display, store display card down on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And then you had one. Do you have a couple of those or what?
There's another one there. I had one that years ago off of eBay. That's the 12-back display bin header at the bottom there, that picture. Yeah. And I actually did get that. I think, I got that graded just because it was, like I said, as a flimsy piece of cardboard and I know what else to do with it. And you lean it against the wall and then it's kind of saggy. So yes, I do have two. And yes, so sometimes I do have duplicates of things.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been looking for that forever.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get it. So.
I love you too.
I love you too.
And I will get it, just so you know.
Yeah, you will get it. It doesn't cost.
I might have to pay triple.
It doesn't cost that kind of money. You have to.
It does. It does.
You need
it's
more
like
friends in the toy community. You don't have enough friends in the toy community.
That's true. But it's crazy. I haven't seen that piece realistically. I mean, just the back card's like $6,000, but to find it with the plastic.
The plastic actually came from another friend. He saw I had the bin. He goes, "Oh, it looks so empty and naked." I said, "Yeah, it's fine." He goes, "Well, I have a spare one." I'm like, "Really? Who has a spare one? It's just laying around." So he sent that to me, and then it completed it because I bought the bin one. You buy piecemeal it together.
So you have the whole complete bin, huh?
Yeah, I have everything now, and I have a lot of 12-backs that but I mean, it's not like I'm going to take them and put them in that.
That would be really cool if you could do that, like, of course, in a case where it doesn't get dust on it.
Wouldn't that be cool? I thought about doing that, and then the prices went up 10 times, and then I said, maybe another time.
Yeah, that's my goal is to. I would love to freaking have that set up, but
there's your Ewok. There's your Regal Ewok up there, Michael.
Yeah, there's my Jawa. There's my Jawa.
I'm sorry, the Jawa, the Regal Jawa. There's an Uze in there, and I put a lot of the Palatoys in here. And the interesting thing about the Palatoy box items is the background on them had like black with like stars. So their background to a lot of their items were very different than the ones that Kenner put out. So I put a lot of those in there.
Nice.
And at the bottom you could see that's the bin for the die cast, and I put some ceramics in it.
That's unbelievable. I can't believe that. Hey, so that Jawa on the top, Robin.
The Jawa, not the Ewok.
Yeah. So the Jawa on the very top right. I mean, I want you to know that. Wow, Where do you find those now? I mean, I can't. I've been looking for that Jawa for 4 years now.
They pop up on eBay, believe it or not, from time to time. I've seen them for $400-500,
Wow.
which is still a lot of money, but I have seen them pop up for that amount every now and then because I paid considerably a lot more than that from somebody at a toy show.
Right.
And I thought I was getting a deal when I bought it at a toy show. And then, a friend of mine says, "Hey, I just bought one for $400." I'm like, "Oh, congratulations. It's so good. I'm so glad." Yeah. And I paid like 3 times as much for it. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, there's such a spectrum of prices.
Yeah.
And there's that's the Return of the Jedi lightsaber store display. I need to get the Empire one.
Where
I really want to get the Empire.
Is that eBay, Robin? I'm sorry to cut you off. Is that eBay?
No, I think I might have won that from an auction.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand? I have like 10,000 items. I can't keep track.
Is this the proof, right? This is the actual proof that they use.
It's the proof, and it doesn't say Return of the Jedi. It says Revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah. Wow. Ooh, what's that little card right there? It's Kenner. It's fun.
Oh yeah, it's Kenner. It's fun. It's like one of the promotional items that came back with the little birdie guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hold on. We got more pictures, guys. Don't worry. There's
don't worry. I mean,
there's so much crap.
Much.
You want to get into props?
Yeah.
There's much more. Yes. Let's get into a little bit of the props, and then we'll go back to the vintage.
So that is the only one. That is the screen use Nippet. That is the little puppet. You can actually put your whole hand all the way up through the bottom, like basically where the butt is. There's a hole, and you put your whole hand up, and the mouth moves, and there's wires that are attached to the hand, so it can actually kind of be moved like a puppet.
Wow.
And that's the one that they were petting that was in like that big basket. Now it was altered from Return of the Jedi through like Caravan of Courage. Like a lot of these things were reused, so they lightened some of the fur on the chest and a little bit on the face. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit to try to like alter, because they used to alter a lot of the props to reuse them for the films.
Yeah.
But it's still the same thing. I mean, it came out terrible that they lightened it because they lightened the fur and it actually has a lavender tint to it.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, guys, this is the screen use. This is the one you see in the film, which is, it's crazy. I mean, obviously one of a kind, right?
Yeah.
Robin, have you talked to like Tom Spina about like the kind of preserving some of these things, or no?
Well, I do talk to Tom about things. I mean, he makes beautiful cases, and I mean, he could display it better than I can. I end up every now and then, very rarely, I go in there and I kind of move it around because it slides a little bit and it slides down. And, Tom, I actually have some masks. I have an Ewok mask that Tom made himself many years ago from extras from Stuart Freeborn's studio. When Stuart died, Kay, his wife, had sold all of his extra pieces from the movie that he had still in like a trunk that were from the set. Because as the film was, coming together, he was slapping together, mask and because at the end of the day, the actors that were playing the Ewoks, a lot of these were glued to their face so that it could move with them, and they were getting destroyed. So he was fixing them and altering them and working on them. So he had a lot of extra parts left over. He had teeth and eyes. So I have 2 Ewok masks that are the extra pieces that were left over from the filming of Return of the Jedi. And one of them he actually made himself, and the other one another gentleman made who no longer works with him. But so all these things have so much provenance. You can track back like who made them, who handled them. So those are the 2 masks. So the one in the upper right is the one that Tom made, and the one in the bottom left, he oversaw this other guy making it. But those are all original pieces and teeth and fur and eyes, and it's cool because they were finally assembled. But they're unnamed Ewoks because they would have just been background characters.
Right.
And holy shit!
And what's up with these middle ones? Yeah,
those 12. Yeah, those are freaking.
Those are Lilly Ledy 12-inch ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that Jawa is like, cannot find that dude. If
Yeah.
she's got it, Jeff's got it. I don't know anybody else.
Well, there was a red one that I'm trying to get. There, it actually was like a maroon red, and that's next time to get the red one.
Do you have this in? There's the
Yeah, I have them all. I think it's in another picture. It's on my Instagram. I think I have pictures of all of them on my Instagram.
I have your Instagram up, so we'll go through.
I don't really promote my Instagram. I don't really talk about it very much.
Yeah.
I don't even think I have it listed on my Facebook page. I never talk about it. It really is just, I only have I don't even have 700 people that follow me. I only just started posting pictures maybe about 3 months ago. I only started.
Really cool, Robin, what you post. It's really cool. I follow you, and it's really, really cool. And I'm not real techie about that stuff. I don't follow many people as well. So,
so a lot of these are prototypes. Forget about the purple one. That's a prototype from Hasbro for a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one in there that actually is a prototype one that's for the remote control lightsaber that came out. But the majority of these, like the ones on the left that I'm looking at now, are wood. And those were made for the Jedis from a studio in England. I have all the paperwork for them. I've been buying them one at a time. And they are prototypes for, if they liked what they looked like, then they'd move on to the next step of the evolution for the lightsabers, which are the resin ones. And then the beige white ones that you see there are actually the resin ones. And there's one of the lightsabers in there is for Plo Koon. It was originally Mace Windu's. The second one down was originally Mace Windu's, and then it ended up getting switched to Plo Koon. That was his lightsaber. And then the one below it is what is it? Darth Tyrannus. That's what's his face.
Christopher.
Dooku. That's Count Dooku's one, and that has like a red piece, like a saber part that comes out. So that's his prototype for his lightsaber for the films. So and then I have like
this is the little Padawan one, right? The little
that is a screen used one for the Padawans. It's like Master Kenobi.
Yeah.
Master Anakin, what are you doing in here? You have a bad look on your face. Can I have some more? And then that was that. So that's all that's left. It's just his little life. That thing is really little, by the way. It's so adorable.
What's this thing with the beads? The white thing up here underneath the
that's a side view of it. That is a panel. For one of the it's like a wall panel from one of the set fixtures. I have a lot of these like pieces. I didn't even send you pictures. I have so many of these that I bought from this one guy in Germany. I don't even know how he ended up getting them. And they're just basically they're set design. They're set pieces that were like on the walls. So I guess when he was working there, and then he would just like walk off with it. So I have a lot of those kind of pieces too. And then the bottom right is a grenade.
Yeah, I see it right there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. See, that's but obviously I collect the replicas of these things, right? So I have like the Count Dooku replica of that lightsaber. So
and they go for a fortune of money. I mean, every time I look at these sideshow collectibles, I'm like, okay, it's a replica. Oh, it's $7,000. So worth it. And it's like, who's spending that? And then it's like, oh, it's sold out already. Yeah. Okay, then. Alrighty then. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's the same as vintage. I think in the last couple years they just skyrocketed like crazy.
It's too much. And also in that picture there's some more pieces that are they're grommets. They're metal pieces the bottom right. Metal and like plastic for the handles, the base of them. So those were all metal work, and they're beautiful actually. They're like little bracelets that are all done that eventually became lightsabers, but no Luke Skywalker ones.
Yeah.
Although my husband's very supportive. There was one that sold a couple years ago that was a Luke Skywalker saber, and he goes, "Do you really, really want it?" And I said, "I really do." I said, "I just can't justify the prices though that they want for it." He goes, "Well, if you really wanted it, I would support you buying that." And I appreciate the fact that he supports that, but it then comes to me saying I can't justify the price for it. And yes, I would love it, and people would come over and I'd be like, that's the crowning glory of my collection. But at the same time, I feel like it's highway robbery.
Yeah, Denise is the same way with her Barbies. I just bought her 2 number 1s in the Barbie collection, and she's very reserved like that too. She's very, there's a limit to what she'll.
There is a limit to it, and until like someday, something really important will come up, and then I'll just throw all the limits out, and I'll go, yeah, shut up, I'm buying this, and then.
And see, the problem with that too is that you think about it like in hindsight too, where later down the line, right? It's like, yeah, right now it's worth a lot of money and you can spend a lot, but then it's like 10 years down the line, you're like, I could have bought it for that price, like, and even though it's a lot back then, it's like crazier now.
In this picture, I know, real quick back, that to be able to find the Empire Strikes Back dewback and the Empire Strikes Back Rebel Transport, that one's not as bad as a dewback. I'll tell you, unbelievably difficult to find.
I was in a transport. I have all the transports actually in another case, and those just get stuck in there. It was that kick. I have to buy one of each, and then before you know it, I had one of each, and then you move on to the next thing. And now at this point, I don't want to give it space, and I don't want it. But that dewback actually is sealed.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That's Canadian.
God,
which is crazy when people look at it, and people are like, oh, wow, there were dewbacks and Empire Strikes Back. And I'm like, no, there weren't dewbacks and Empire Strikes Back, but Canada got a whole bunch of these to sell.
Hey, Robin, the day I come over to visit, Bill's going to be like, hey, when's he going to leave? He's not spending it right.
Yeah. What is he doing here? He showed up with suitcases.
I know. What the hell's up with this guy? I mean,
see, Michael, whenever he sees something in the box and he reacts, I know what's going to really happen because Michael opens all his stuff. He sent me videos of him being like, hey, Gabe, check this out. And he just opens up the bubble and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, but it pisses people off. I do.
He likes to play with them.
I opened up the A-Wing. It was pretty cool. But yeah, stuff like that. I just, because I like the feely touchy of the toys, but there's a difference when you have, all of them, so I wouldn't open up every single one of those. But
yeah, well, no, some of them are sealed, so keep your fingers off them.
She's like, I don't know after all if you're.
I don't know about this. I'll come over to visit me. Maybe I'll just come visit you. Okay.
Lilly Ledy.
I know.
Jawa.
Oh, shit.
Now, the most important piece actually in this cabinet is that R2-D2.
Yeah.
The stuff
that is a prototype lunch pail.
Nope, the other one to the right there.
I was like, I had this stuffy.
Yeah.
I had that. No, you didn't.
No,
this one. No, I not.
You got 2 of them.
Yeah, and like that Lilly Ledy Jawa there has a removable hood, so the little fabric hood pops off, so that kind of is cool. Now the rarer one actually is a carded Jawa where the hood is attached. So just little.
I have the removable hood loose, but not in the damn package.
I know. Well, those I love Jawas. I love it all.
It's my favorite.
I love the oddities that these other countries put out. They put it just their own spin on things. Just made it a little different.
Yeah, just a little loose hood by itself was $400 to complete, and I got it at.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, someone out of.
I have a loose one. I'll let you play with the little loose one I have here.
I got one here.
I'm going to put you at the kiddie table with everything it's safe, and I'll keep you away from everything else.
Oh, I understand. All right.
Oh,
there he is. There's the sand trooper back there.
Yeah.
Do you have 2 of those Jawas, or just one, or?
I have 2.
Jesus.
I told you it's about duplicates. It's disgusting.
Where are these from?
Those are Hungarian figures. Those are so poorly made. I think I sent another picture of those carded figures later on. They're so poorly made and painted. They don't really even resemble. I mean, they look like they were like home projects. And then those pieces of cardboard were basically just reused. It's the same image,
Mm-hmm.
and the back there's no writing.
Wow.
There's no back. It's just a piece of cardboard.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Those are actually really hard to come by. Those little packs there with the blister packs. Those were called rack packs. So I had gotten one a few years ago, and then I recently won another one. And while they're not terribly expensive per se, they're impossible to find.
Yes, they are.
Interesting.
Was that through Topps?
Yes.
That's one of my favorite of my vintage collection are the Topps cards. I don't know if I told you that when I first met you, but I love the Topps cards. I have all of the originals, but I don't have them like that. You know, I have the
Well,
box.
that's just cool because it's just a weird combination that just didn't seem to survive.
Yeah, you're right. And you're one of the ones, Robin, that are, oh my God, guys, everybody looking at this picture right now. Man, I'm just, excuse me for 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
You see,
I can't
the thing
believe
I
it.
like the most in it is the Toll Toys land speeder, because as soon as you see that blue ink like underneath the jet of the land speeder, I know that blue ink, that wide band means Toll Toys. So it was from Australia. So that's hard to come by, just to have a Toll Toys version of it. I have a large land speeder collection, and that's my most proud one. I wanted that one for a very long time.
Hey, let me.
Is that what you're freaking out about, Michael? Or
No, I'm freaking out that she's got freaking 3 of these, 3 of them, one in the package and 2 displayed, one out and one in the box. You know, and it's just this right here, guys, loose $800 to $1,000 bucks. I just, hey, Robin, are yours? I can't tell in the picture. Yours look really, really white.
No, the one in the top right, the wings
yellowed?
are yellowed.
Yeah, this
and
one.
you know, I have it there, so
Yeah.
And Robin, are these top ones the prototypes of the figures?
yeah, I have there's a picture. I have probably about 100 protos, but
Wow.
they're for like the figures that came out from like the late 80s on, for like Attack of the Clones and stuff like that. So
okay, like
there's
the
a few of those. The shelf above that has like another 100 of them. They're pretty cool. They're neat. I mean, the films are good. I enjoy watching them. If they're on, I'll sit and I'll watch them. But I love the movies. I like the toys more than the movies. So people are like, how often do you watch Star Wars? I'm like, I don't really watch it very often. I listen to the music. The soundtracks are always in my car. I listen to the Imperial March almost every day. I mean, that means
Gabe, can you go back one more click just again, real fast? I'm sorry. So everybody on the bottom left, I mean, that's a real, I mean, that was the mail away thing. And I saw that she has it, you know, great.
I have an envelope also. I have the graded envelope over there. But in fact, yeah,
cool.
I know that's the first thing that everybody was hoping to get when there was no toys that were going to be released for that Christmas. So the parents would buy that envelope, and it was the promissory thing to give the kids that you're going to get these figures.
Yes.
Here's what you're going to get. So then kids would have something to look forward to. And then on the bottom, you would just like fill it out and mail it in. And then lo and behold, you got those. And I have those also. With the Luke, with the double telescoping saber, and like all the little baggies. So I have the early bird kit that was sent. So I have that also. I didn't send you that as a picture. The thing also in here is I have a lot of die cast, and in back are a lot of them there, and a lot of them are all different countries.
I got you.
They're all the foreign ones.
Gabe just bought that TIE Fighter loose because it was a screen used piece, so he was excited.
Yeah, apparently they used those in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Instead of making more, so then I just got one, and
I know. I had recently found that out, and I was like, I was tripping on that one. I was like, that
I love the die cast, Robin. I mean, I love them. I don't have that kind of a collection, obviously, but I love those. You know,
I passed them by. I used to see them on the racks at Toys R Us, and I just thought they were stupid because you couldn't put the figures in them. So I thought nothing of them. I would just go, and I would just keep going down the aisles. So,
jeez.
So those costumes in the top right are from Spain. They were Halloween costumes. Well, not Halloween, but they were kids' costumes. to wear. So one's for Leia and one is for Luke, and they are partially licensed. So the costumes were licensed, but the guns were not. The guns actually were from Metroletta from Spain, and they were just like ray guns that they put in that were like these generic, like spacey kinds of Buck Rogers looking guns that were put in.
Yeah.
And then in front of that is the German cassette case for the Ewoks for music. And
so these 2-packs are also big deal. I'm not a big vintage collector, but I know about 2-packs.
Oh
Right?
yeah, I have a lot of the 2-packs. They were KB Toy and Hobby 2-packs. Now these, are you talking about?
I thought they were 3-packs.
Where are you talking about?
These
Show me
ones,
with the
right?
arrow.
Like right here. Whoops.
Those aren't 2-packs. Those
Oh, they're not?
are mailers. So the
Oh, they're
little white
mailers?
box
Okay.
above it was a mailer that you would get and would have all these baggy figures. So those are all the Creature Cantina ones, and that has Blue Snaggletooth still in his baggie. So there was like 4 that you could get as a mail away.
So yeah, I try to
You,
sound
you
like I
could
know
get
what
you could get a
I sound
snaggle,
like I know what I'm talking about.
you could get a blue snaggletooth on a mail away.
Well, they were that you
I knew about the
that
Sears.
was a mail away. The little box above it is what it came in, and it came in a baggie. It was never carded.
Huh. Oh yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
crazy. Yeah, the remote control land speeder in the back, and is that in the box? That is it sealed by chance? Or?
No, neither one of those are sealed. I've never been lucky enough to come across one that is.
So you just have the toys in there? They're just not
Yeah, they're
sealed?
all complete. They're still in perfect shape, unplayed with. They're really nice, but they unfortunately those were not. A lot of times the foreign items, very rarely can you get those sealed. Even if you're willing to pay silly money, they just
Yeah.
don't exist because they were much a more limited production. And the one in front of it is another land speeder that's Meccano.
Hey, Robin, I'm just asking. So there's a few people out there in this certain little club that have the whether there both. There's actually the 3 rocket firing Boba Fett's. Do you have any of those at all?
No, and when they were relatively affordable, I still had no interest in them. I actually I never had any interest in a lot of the prototype items. It never sung to me. And back when I could have bought things for, like, a lot of things are tens of thousands. I could have picked up things for 800, 700 back when I was really getting into collecting, and I just would go, yeah, I don't care. I don't really care. And they go, oh no, this is actually really important, Robin. You should have in your collection. And I just slid by it. And I don't regret that. I don't regret not buying a rocket firing Fett. The J or the L slot. It doesn't really matter to me. Everybody says that it's the most important piece for toys, but I wish I could say that. I wish I could say, yes, it is. It doesn't hit me that way.
I understand. I remember the gentleman that did the interview with you on Star Wars Stories. I remember he did a video, and I think he picked one up for like 15 grand. I remember he did it.
Yeah, and now that you could see them resold for $175,000.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And I'd say, hey, that's good for them, but it doesn't. It never hit me the way it hits other people.
Yeah, I understand.
So what's up with these guys in the middle? Are these also?
Yeah, those are bootlegs.
No,
yeah. Some of them are the metal ones on the left are model trims. Those are all made of metal, and they're very rickety. And they were made by a company that made model trains. Therefore, they were called model trims.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine kids playing with them.
Yeah.
And then
it's crazy the value of the bootlegs nowadays. And for people of you guys that are watching that don't understand the bootlegs, it's companies from other countries who didn't have the license that saw that there was something going on with the Star Wars, so they decided
Lucas
to
would not exactly let a license out for everybody who wanted to put them out, and he was very particular. He cared very much about the products. So therefore, some countries, some places would say, can we have a license? And they couldn't get it. And they didn't have the technology or necessarily the manufacturing to even put out a product that would have lived up to his standards. So the countries just decided to make it on their own. and they package them and they put them out so that their kids could have items. And now these items are so cherished by us as collectors because they really are kind of wonky looking and they're weird and they go for a lot of money.
Yeah. And just for you, those of you that are, if you're actually looking at the prompt right now, so the guy right in the middle of this screen is pretty much hard as finding a rock firing Boba Fett, in my humble opinion.
That was from Brazil.
Yeah.
That's Vlix. And when this show came out, Droids, it was so after the fact. You're talking 1985, and really nobody cared. So these figures ended up in the dollar bin. And now, carded ones of these are like $50,000.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So and he was made like crap. I mean, their heads popped off. I mean, his head came off all the time. So whenever you buy them, or if you have ever friends that have them, they'll say, just don't touch it because the head will pop off. And they're all glued on. They weren't really meant to move. That's
amazing. I remember the first, me and my wife were walking around, and I have most of all the Droids figures, but I don't have him and his son. And I remember seeing him it was a Star Wars Celebration, and it was about 8 years ago. And loose, he was like 12 grand at the time. And I'll tell you, it's just so amazing. Robin, I want you to know something real quick. Me and you talked earlier this afternoon about, this collection, and let's be real clear. Everybody knows that it's almost impossible to find and to be able to afford a lot of the things that some people are so humbled to have, like you. And, you busted your ass in life and your success. And you've been a Star Wars geek since you were a kid, and this is what you chose to collect. And what I think is so awesome that you are able to come on Collection Wars and show your awesome. I mean, this gives everybody out there the opportunity to cherish and be part of a collection that nobody can have. I mean, it's so sincere and humbling, Robin. I just can't even tell you. I know, guys, y'all know I'm a pretty big Star Wars collector, but holy shit, I am just in awe over this vintage stuff.
Oh, thanks. Now, I like a lot of like the lesser known, lesser seen things. Yeah. And I enjoy buying them, and I do enjoy sharing them and teaching everybody this existed, this came out, take a look at it. It's like opening up the archives of the world and finding these pieces. Yeah. And I try to preserve them, and I have friends over, and we go through and we look, and there's nothing like seeing it firsthand.
For sure. No doubt. And you're one of the ones that are going to continue this, so I think it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
I didn't send you a lot of, I think I sent you some pictures, but you've seen that before. That's the same one.
Yeah, no, we still got some more. We still got some more.
It's hard to awe me, Robin. Gabe will tell you right now, straight up. I mean, I've seen some really beautiful collections, and I just respect your collection so much, Robin. It's so badass.
Thanks. Does anybody have any questions for me? Has anybody had any?
Let me post some while I look for the
I'll tell you should see some of the people love your enthusiasm.
I know there's so much, and I should have been.
Well, you should show the what about my life-size FAO Schwartz Han Solo and Carbonite?
Oh, is that that one piece?
Wait, which one do you?
I sent that picture to you.
Did you send it? Let's see.
I sent a whole bunch of pictures to your email. Don't you remember?
But there's 4. I got 4 emails. 3 of them.
If not, though, she definitely sent that one to me. So
it's on Instagram, but I did send that.
Well, let me pull it up.
I'm sending it
Mike,
to you.
Did you send everything to Gabe?
I did, but I didn't say. Actually, Robin, but I didn't send that piece because I didn't. I mean.
That's cool though, because
I know
that was out by FAO Schwartz back in '96 when nobody cared.
And
my mother had bought that for me for Christmas, and it was in a big crate. And
I wonder who built that, who made that. If it was a elusive concept.
I still have the certificate. I've been looking for it. I have it with a whole bunch of other things, but I think that's actually cool because when you get up so close to it, it really is an officially licensed piece that came out in '96.
Is it
Yeah.
this? Is it this one?
It's going to be.
Yeah.
I just said it. Yeah, that's Elusive Concepts.
Yeah,
Hey, Robin,
it's this one.
From '96.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
concept.
look behind Gabe right now.
Yeah, that's it. I have.
All right. So that is so cool because I can get up really close. I'm like, so this is what it must be like.
Well, and this one was actually casted from the
original one
Yeah.
from the movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why it's so cool because there's been so many iterations that have come out after the fact.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. This is the truest one, and that's why I had to get it. I was like, this is an original cast, and in fact, if you
can't
look,
find them anymore.
yeah, they're hard. The sides, if you look, they actually made a cast of the second. So it's the panels. There's the hero panel, and then the second panel. So that's a direct cast of the original screen used second panel. But then they just did 8 of them. But yeah, so even the panel is a direct cast from the original. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite pieces just because my mom bought it for me.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
No, that's such a cool piece.
We got a few cool, great questions that they're asking Robin.
Oh, let me bring that up.
Robin, do you like to collect the vintage line that is all still comes out today? Do you like when they're re-releasing some of the vintage out there?
It's cool. I mean, it's great that now there's a General Tarkin. There should have always been a General Tarkin to begin with. So at least that was added in a sense. But I don't collect it. I look at it. I admire it. It puts a smile on my face to see it because of the name. But for wanting it, I do not collect it. There's just still so many things that are old that I'm trying to find.
100%.
Now, I was going to save this kind of towards the end, but I also want to respect Robin's time because this to me, obviously with replicas and screen use, it is a screen used.
Now, you know what? You can't prove that it's screen used. There's only 2 of these that are owned outside of George Lucas. And this was myself and a friend of mine, Gus Lopez, has the other one. So we're the only 2 people that have these from Return of the Jedi. No. They cannot say that this was screen used, even though it's scratched up and used. But from every person that has been spoken to that was there on the sets, they said they both were. No. These were used. These are in the movie. Mm-hmm. But there's supposed to be some straps, these like little attachments that are on the inside that this one doesn't have, and neither does Gus's. And therefore, all these years later, they said, well, since they don't have these attachments for the cape, then we can't say they are screen used. But the people that were there back then said every single one of them were plopped on somebody's head and they were all used. So since they can't say it is, it's very hard to say that. There's a very big difference in the prop world if it's screen used or production made. So this is considered production made, but everybody that was there on the sets, from what I've gathered from everyone I've spoken to, said this was in fact used, but you can't match it.
Right. Yeah. Screen matching is a crazy, I screen matched. I have I don't know if you watched Django Unchained, but I have the skull, old Ben's skull, right? The one that he knocks off the table. And I screen matched it perfectly. And it actually has Leonardo DiCaprio's blood still on it.
Oh, wow.
Like you can't, the only way to prove it is literally by screen matching each little.
And you can't screen match these helmets, but everyone said that's used in the film. I said, well, okay, cool.
Now, Robin, I have to talk about this one. Now, I know Michael might not be too into it, but I know I am, and a lot of our watchers love Clone Wars and love, the cartoons. How did you acquire these? Are amazing. These are,
believe it or not, I have a lot of these. I actually have a lot of these I've collected, and these aren't even all of them that I framed. Yeah. I've been collecting these because I love art. I love artwork. Yeah. And I don't watch the Clone Wars. I know, throw that shoe at somebody else. I don't watch them. I've tried, and everyone goes, well, you got to watch them in this certain order. Yeah. Don't watch it from the first down. I started to watch it, and I was like, this is so bad. And they go, well, you didn't do it. You didn't listen to me, Robin. You have to watch them in order. Eventually I will. In the meantime, I've been buying the artwork. These are the hand-drawn production backgrounds for the for the films, and I love them.
Yeah.
They're so beautiful, and I have a book of them, and I had pulled out certain ones that I thought the colors would kind of all pop next to each other, and I had gotten them framed, and I didn't really do anything fancy with the framing. I went to Michael's Crafts, and I used the same frame over and over again. They had a custom. Every one is cut so different, so they're all different. It's kind of hard to hang them that they don't look kind of, Harry Potter.
Well, yeah, I mean, but these cartoons now, because of the new series that are coming out with Dave Filoni kind of attached to them, I think all of these are blowing up again because now people are starting to try to understand where Dave Filoni is coming from. So they're going back and watching Clone Wars, and it's just, these are
they're very cool. I love them. I look at them and I'm very proud of them. They're actually very beautiful.
These are awesome. Well, here's a closer shot of that jet engine. Beautiful. Yep. And that's a beautiful, they're hard to find even like without major dents and major like defects. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's rough. The metal on the top's a little rough. It's not polished up, Yeah. It's a little raw. It's a little rough.
Right. Yeah, and the one thing that they did for IG-88, and I learned this again because I got one of the casts from the Disney parks, is that IG-88 is cut right underneath. So right where the big circles, they actually ended up cutting it right there to make it kind of swivel. But it's a little.
And then they elongated the eyes to you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. What else?
Those are those Hungarian figures in the center there.
We got to see this. I mean, come on.
That's a screen used Bespin guard jacket.
Man, that's amazing.
It's still in decent shape. One of the threads came out a little bit, but it's very small. I mean, I can't put it on. So whoever wore that is the size of a jockey.
Man. But yeah, I mean, screen use pieces, Star Wars pieces. I mean, yeah, they're almost impossible now to get, right? I mean, besides the auctions and stuff. So definitely, man, such a cool piece.
Thank you.
Beautiful. The radio watch. Look at this. Oh, here's a shot of those figures you're talking about.
Those are very cool. I've never seen them.
Yeah, Leia has like these like eyebrows like from like Frau Farfignu, and like they come up. They're like so weird. And Chewbacca is like the most clickety thing in the world. They're like he's hollow.
Oh, that's crazy.
I thought I had sent you more pictures, but that's okay.
I don't even think Steve Sansweet has those pics. I mean, not pics, but those.
Well, Steven has a lot of things in his collection, but he doesn't even have everything out on display. I mean, he has like a separate warehouse just to put other things in, like the overflow. So
you sent me. You did send me some, but I'm looking through them right now, and there are a lot of them are just
okay, good.
Some of them are close. They're close-ups of the ones we already saw.
I didn't get to take any fresh pictures today. Those were pictures I had on my phone because I was out all day. So
yeah, no worries. I mean, we went through all this. Now this one I do want to touch on because that is a big deal.
Okay, so this predates the figures. This actually is for an NPC model of R2-D2. So this was one of the first R2-D2 items that was ever made because Kenner had bought Fun Dimensions and NPC, and it had gobbled up a lot of other manufacturers along the way in its evolution. So when they were handed the licensing rights to make toys, they weren't necessarily at first thinking about putting out figures. So they said, well, let's put out some models. So they handed it to the NPC model division of their company to put this out. So that is for the snap together NPC model. Is all the pieces here, and this is the only thing I think surviving from that. And then eventually, obviously, the figures came out, and I know that they probably based some of the figure on this.
Mm-hmm.
because it's this, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the guys are gone now that were from then. You know, I know Jim Swearingen. He's a very good friend, and I love talking to him. He was only there for Star Wars. He left to go work on strawberry shortcake products,
Mm-hmm.
but he was around for in the beginning. And if you could sit and never talk to him, he's a wealth of knowledge. I mean, he could just take you right back and talk about who was in charge what day and what they were doing. And so yeah, it's cool talking to the guys from back then. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, 40 years has passed. So we're starting to lose some of them now.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Who we were talking to? What's the photographer from Kenner, Michael?
Yes.
Yeah, and we had him on the show, and we were specifically talking about that. How there's
Kim Simmons.
Kim Simmons.
Yeah. Kim, the man who shot.
Yep. Yeah, Skywalker. Yeah, and same conversation we're having, that a lot of these people in the toy industry are kind of passing away, and a lot of the stuff is just going away. He tells a great story about how he saved all the pictures, right, all the negatives and the proofs from all the Return of the Jedi, right? It was Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, all the pictures, and he saved them. Which is
he was smart enough to save them, and he's at a lot of shows. He's very friendly. He's always there with his wife. He does a lot of toy shows, and he prints them. He reprints them and he signs them.
Yeah.
Jeff's commented a few times about Bernie Loomis. I'm not familiar even who that guy is.
Bernie Loomis was a big deal back in the day for Kenner.
Okay.
So no, and I had never gotten to meet him, but he was, everything kind of went through Bernie Loomis. Like, he was the one who made a lot of the big decisions. He's the one who would talk to all the big wigs.
Yeah. He was asking if you had anything from Bernie Loomis. I saw Jeff. He's a frequent watcher of Collection Wars.
I don't have anything of Bernie Loomis's. The only reason why I have a lot of Howard Kazanjian's pieces that I've been buying is just through auctions, because he's been selling them off.
Yeah.
Maybe his kids don't want them, and there is a cachet about having something that was given to him, and and it comes with a certificate that he owned it. So
right,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Robin, I also wanted to ask you, because obviously for anybody who hasn't seen, Robin was a guest on the Star Wars stories, and you're obviously they did an amazing short on you there. Michael also sent me a picture of you at Celebration. Looks like you're getting interviewed.
The Star Wars show. Yeah, I did an interview with Jordan Hembrow, who most people may know as the Toy Hunter.
Yeah,
he's a really nice guy. He lives here in New Jersey, and we grab a bite every now and then. I really like him. He's a lot of funny. The stories he can tell he's been around so long in the toy industry. I mean, he knows everybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was able to, I didn't know him before I did this interview with Lucasfilm and Disney in the beginning, called Our Stories. Yeah. So I got to talk to him, and then we become friends through that. But yeah, it was a really big honor to be invited to, when I went to Celebration, to go on stage and to be able to, talk about the show and to talk about whatnot. And then I got to fire the gun with the t-shirts out into the audience, and everyone who was in the films did that too. So I was like, I get to handle it. Ooh.
Yeah.
So no, it was a really big deal. I felt like a big cheese. I felt like a big cheese. So I felt really good.
Well, because you are a big cheese.
I'm a big cheese. I'm Brinza cheese.
Hey, Robin, so have you?
We're going to see you and celebrate.
I was going to say, have you heard of Celebrate? What's going on this year?
Well, so far everything is planned to go. I mean, the other day I got an email for people who wanted to do like collector panels and stuff. So they are still going ahead. It seems it doesn't seem like anything's getting canceled. So they're still sending emails out. They're still trying to fill applications for certain things like fan tables and club tables. They're so it should be fine. Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be wearing a mask.
Yeah,
Which is good because then no one's going to recognize me, and then I can actually get from booth to booth to booth because I'm usually on the floor, in the bins, on the ground, digging around, and then I feel like this, and they're like, "You are Robin? Oh, I know you. We once spoke," and I'm like, yeah, how you doing? Oh my god!" And then I don't remember their name, and then I feel so bad. So it's going to be great. So my friend Frank that I'm going to be going with is like, we got to get you a costume. We got to get you a wig. We got to get you like overalls. We're hiding you so that we can actually just get around and like, just enjoy ourselves because, a lot of the convention is catching up with friends and just, hanging out and seeing people you haven't seen for a while. And then, but then the other half of it, it's like, I'm seriously there to find like I'm there for a purpose too. And after I've talked with people, I'm like, all right, shut up. I'm going to go toy shopping right now.
Toy hunting. Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, we're definitely going to be there. So hopefully we'll run into each other and say
I'll be
hi.
hanging out at Tom Spina's booth, bothering him about
There you go. Oh yeah.
Tom is so nice, by the way. He's one of the most approachable individuals, and he's so nice and he's so enthusiastic and he's so knowledgeable that I just can't help it. I always go, hey, and then I end up and then if I don't buy anything from him, I feel like really bad. But I just like really like him.
He's got me, and Michael too. I mean, this chair is from Tom, like the
best products. Regal Robot. I love him. I fully endorse him 1,000,000%. I love the guy. I don't have enough of his stuff. I have his two, Ewok mask. I have one that he made by hand, so that's kind of cool.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing a Wicket for me, by the way.
Ooh, oh, I got to. That might go good with that.
Yeah.
What I'd really like to get is some Jawas. I would actually like to get some life-size Jawas. I see them every now and then. Somebody makes them on eBay, and I see them. But I'd like to get a couple with the bandoliers and the gun, and I want them to look a little dirty.
I'll talk to you about all that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Man, I know we went through. I mean, obviously, we went through a lot of pictures. There's still obviously more. On your Instagram, obviously there's some, and I know you said you haven't really been updating.
I don't really post. I only just started to post. A friend said, you have so many great things. Why don't you share some pictures?
Yeah.
So every now and then I put a picture up, and like I said, about 3 months ago I started doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I believe it or not, for as out there as I may seem, I'm actually kind of private about it. If I wanted more people to know, I run a page called Bespin Prime. So there's a plug for the page that I started. My collection is called Bespin Prime because, it kind of looks a little like Bespin. So that is my page. That is the page I started with my friend Dennis. And that's where I hang out all the time.
Cool.
Okay. So that's where I am. But I don't really tell many people about Instagram just because I'm not this new generation of everything is Instagram with the selfies and the duck lips and the I can't do it.
Plus, you're very busy, and I know that too.
I am busy. I'm a physician, so I have a job, and now I have a baby, and and I have a husband, and I collect, so I'm the curator, so I got a lot to do. Yeah. Have I met Carrie Fisher or any of the big actors? I never waited in line to meet any of them because here's the thing, because that would take me away from toy shopping. So instead of waiting 4 or 5 hours, sometimes I just went, some other time, sure. I never waited in line to meet them, and I feel really bad now about that. Yeah. Because when Peter Mayhew was at the was at Celebration, I could have met him because I know so many people that know him that would actually go there and hang out with him and Angie, his wife, and they were like, oh no, you wouldn't, they're like, you don't have to wait in line. Come on, we'll just meet him. I'm like, yeah, we will. Yeah, we will another time. And then he passes like right after that. Yeah. So I feel so bad that, the friends I have that are friends with him that would have offered me like a line skip.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it. like a jerk, like a loser, like an idiot. I didn't take that opportunity because I went, no, I'm here for toys. I mean, I'm hanging out with people. I'm doing this. So I never really got into like hanging out with any of like the celebrities or stars. I'm a toy collector. I don't even watch the movies that much. I know. Go ahead and laugh. I
No,
care about the toys. I listen to the music and the actors. Yeah. You know, I actually wouldn't mind meeting Warwick Davis.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's so charming and so funny. And, you know, he was so often on stage that I was like, this guy is like awesome. And we're like the same age. And if I could probably hang out with anybody, I'd probably want to hang out with him. I love him. And he's doing so many films that I love. So
yeah. And I think they're doing another Willow. But you know what, Robin?
Willow series.
Yeah.
I wouldn't promote that.
I love Willow.
I like Willow because I like, you know, I like Val Kilmer a lot.
Listen, so when you mentioned Peter Mayhew, you know, that was at Chicago that you're talking about. And I had my life size. I was letting Tom showcase the life size Chewbacca that he commissioned for me at Star Wars Celebration. And he was doing these 50 of these
The
Chewbacca
heads, the busts.
Yeah. And Peter was supposed to sign those. Well, I told Tom, look, you know, when to have my deal there, all I ask is when he comes to sign all the plaques, I'd like him to sign the pouch. And anyway, I was lucky enough to find somebody that lived in Houston where Peter works. She represented Peter, and she called me and said, get it, come over here, hurry up. I remember going back there and Peter sitting in his wheelchair. He wasn't feeling really good. And he was right next to me as I was talking to her. And I was so respectful to him. Usually I met Spielberg and a lot of big people, but I wish I would have looked over at Peter and said, thank you for everything that you've done. But long story short, he did sign the pouch. Tom didn't get his pouches signed. I mean, his plaque signed. I was very fortunate.
Angie signed them for the.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And Mark Hamill. Yeah. And the thing is, though, is I was fortunate, but I do wish, like you said, that I would have talked to Peter and, you know,
I squandered so many opportunities to actually shake their hand or smile at them or thank them and tell them what they meant to me and how they've affected my life and how I'm always going to carry that little piece of them with me. And I didn't do that because I just was so, lazy and selfish at these shows to just want to go around and just look at crap. And I missed that opportunity to know them that I have to live with that. And it's a little painful. So thanks for bringing that up. Thank you.
No, yeah, great. Thanks, Michael. Now, hey, Robin, I was going to ask you, we recently, me and Michael and a couple other collector buddies, we met up at Galaxy's Edge, and we go every week because I'm Southern California, but I showed Michael the Falcon and all that. Have you been?
Yes, I went to the one in Orlando.
What did you think?
It's so beautiful, and it's different because it's not necessarily any place that you've seen in the movies.
Right.
They created another world because they just want to keep taking it to the next dimension. They don't want to they don't want to rely on the past. They just want to just keep building on it. And the detail work is just incredible. Is just so beautiful that no matter where you stand, I couldn't stop taking pictures. Yeah. I took like an obscene, vulgar amount of pictures. And I was even taking pictures. And at one point I was taking a picture and this woman thought I was probably taking a picture of their kid. And I was like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. And I'm like clicking away and it was just like a kid next to it. And I just wanted to think I'm like a weirdo or anything. But I just could not. I think I have literally like 700 pictures that I took of Galaxy's Edge. I wasn't able to get into the cantina though. I did not know you needed to make a reservation months ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We got in just kind of last minute. But what about the Falcon? When you first saw the Falcon, was that like?
I'd seen it so many times already from everyone else's pictures that when I saw it, it actually ended up being another surreal thing in life where I'm like, well, here it is.
Yeah.
Wow. So is this supposed to be life size? Is this in fact the size that it was supposed to be? And so then all these things are starting to run through your head. Okay, so then they'd be running around here, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was insane. It was really perfect. It was really packed.
Yeah.
So when I went this summer, I went in July.
Mhm.
It was hot as hell, and it was packed with so many people that were there that even waiting in the lines was it was insane, but it
Yeah.
was worth it. It was really nice. It was worth to go. I don't know about There's another thing that everyone is signing up for. That was it, the Star Cruiser.
Oh yeah, yeah. The new hotel thing.
Yeah, the new hotel thing. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. That'll probably get changed and probably go through some different iterations before it settles in on what it's going to be. But I
Yeah.
think the idea is very cool.
Me
Yeah.
too. Me too.
Absolutely.
So we'll see where that one goes.
Perfect. Well, Robin, it's we're at the 2 hour mark, and we want to be so respectful because I know you're on the East Coast, and you've had a busy day, and we don't want to take too much of your
I was playing
time.
Pokemon. I'm a big Pokemon person.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
telling
there,
you.
yeah.
I play with a lot of other Star Wars collectors. Actually.
Collectors.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
funny
it's
how
kind of cool.
there's a crossover in a lot of the franchises. It's awesome.
I know. Well, when I grew up playing video games. I grew up going to the arcades.
Yeah.
I grew up in East Brunswick. So the East Brunswick Square Mall had a really great arcade, which was right next to KB Toy, by the way.
Mhm.
And, and my mother was a really big arcade person. I mean, nobody could beat her at Joust. I mean, the kids would put the quarters up like as if they were up next. And my mother would be like, yeah, kid, just put that quarter back in your pocket. And she could play for an hour on a quarter. It was ridiculous.
Oh.
I mean, and I play, of course, the sit-in Star Wars game, which I was terrible. But I mean, I'd still play because I just wanted to hear the voices and I just wanted to pretend. So I would be in there all day. And I played Galaga. That was another big one.
I've got that game here.
I actually have a couple of life-size arcade games from back
too.
in the day. Yeah,
Me
I have
too.
Zaxxon and I have Defender.
Nice.
Yeah. So and when anybody comes over, they can never win.
You're like the shark. You're like,
I am the Bodhisattva of Defender. I can actually finish the game.
nice. Man.
Yeah.
Whoa. Jeez. Well, look, I had a blast. I mean, honestly, Robin, this is probably one of the funnest shows. Like, you're
my favorite.
A cool person.
I paid them. Everyone at home, I paid them to say that. They're going to be having new props up next time that I bought.
We've had some badass shows. Listen,
I'm not even messing around. Like, I'm not kidding.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Don't give me an audience because then I end up I'll talk the ear off.
Yeah.
No, it was great. I mean, you are such a positive, energetic. The passion for Star Wars just shows, and that right there, like, there's no doubt to anybody who I'm sure who meets you that you have this passion, and that's why we do this show, because we want to keep that passion alive. We want to kind of really bring people back to those early childhood memories and what makes us happy. And I think you're a prime example of that, right? Of how life could take you, through a journey, and you end up kind of going back to this small period of time in your life where these little things made you so happy. And it's wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing all of these with us.
Well, Star Wars made the difference in my life that it turned a little girl into a science major. Because of my love of Star Wars, I loved science so much that I became a doctor out of it. Yeah. So it affected my life that it permanently imprinted who I became.
Yeah.
I just got to say real quick, I don't know if Lacey's a friend of yours, Robin, but
yes,
it's okay. It's best said. Robin is great. I love that she engages with fans and on Bestman Prime, makes small collectors feel like family, and that is a fact, Lacey.
Well, thank you. Well, everybody who collects is important. Everybody who collects is a part of the community.
Yeah, right.
So if your collection is small or large or specific, it doesn't really matter. You don't even have to collect. You like Star Wars. So it's a place that we can all be there together, and it feels good. So whatever anybody has to share, they're sharing a part of themselves with you, and it's very humbling. So whatever they share, it's exciting because everybody displays differently.
Well, that's what the heart of Collection Wars is all about, Robin. So if you watch the episodes, people know that that's what we're all about. So it doesn't matter how big or how small, but
Yeah.
Robin, thank you so very much. You know I love you to death. You're super classy. I can't wait to give you a big hug at Celebration.
Yes.
And, again, thank you for your Saturday evening. To everybody that's watching, thank you so much for the great comments. Gabe, bro, I love you, man.
You too, Michael.
Thanks, Gabe. Nice to meet you. And your pieces are, and you're a fellow, Han Solo and Carvin. I
know.
I finally found somebody else who has the
I
same.
know, right? I know.
Right? And no fingers are broken off. People come over and I go, don't touch the fingers because one's going to get cracked off, and then that's going to be it. I'm going to have a bad day then.
Yep.
So yours looks like it's in good shape.
It is.
Good to see our boy Vic Garza back on. Vic, always good to have you on, man. It's been on since the beginning. I hope things are well with you, brother.
Perfect. Well, everybody, thank you so much for your Saturday night, and we will see you next week. Again, Michael, Robin, thank you so much. And Robin, hang tight, okay, before when I end the show.
Okay, cool.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.